Hey, what's up? It's me, Dave. Thank you so much for checking out the Stonebergs Podcast on YouTube. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you can stay up to date on everything we're doing. Fun episode today. I rant about donuts for a while. Katie has some issues with her hair. We take a few phone calls. We're trying to get back into that. And Katie also dives deep into the psychological concept of shadow work. Also have some word of mouth to share. So, fun episode today. Pull up a chair, whatever you do, watch the episode, listen to the episode. But regardless, we're glad you're here. Enjoy this episode of the Stonebergs right here on YouTube.
Podcasting from their dining room table in
Way-ho.
California, it's the Stonebergs with Dave Stone and Katie Strandberg. Get it? Advice and encouragement from two goofballs who can barely run their own lives. Call now at 562-548-2012 to be a part of the show. Now welcome, the Stonebergs.
There it is.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
That's us, Boo. They're talking about us.
It is. I'm so happy about us. Good for us. Good
for
to be
us.
more positive in my head. Good for us.
We're doing
Good
it.
Fun.
People are talking, Boo.
Oh,
What's going on there?
Boo, I am just great.
Yeah?
Feeling good. Got caffeine in me.
Uh-huh.
And, yeah. How about you?
Oh, if I'm, yeah. I'm good. I'm fair to middling.
Fair to middling.
That's pretty good.
Is that middle of the road?
That's middle of the road. That's an old cotton term.
As they would say
You know,
cotton?
in the parlance of our times. No, I'm good. Yeah, it's how they used to grade cotton.
Oh, here. I'll scooch.
Fair to
I'll
middling.
scooch over so I can see
I
you.
want to be able to see you.
Well, I'm beautiful.
You are beautiful.
Thank
You're
you.
looking fresh today.
Thank you so much. A
Looking
lot of
very
makeup
nice.
and a lot of lighting. La, la, la.
How's everything else going with you?
Well, my hair's an issue, but I'll live.
Okay.
So
What's wrong with your hair?
it's not great.
You're always complaining about your hair. Maybe not on the show, but around the apartment. And I like your hair. I think you have cute hair.
Well, I hide it from you. If
What do you
I
mean?
if I let my hair down, I look like not Doc Hollywood. What's that movie? Doc Brown.
Doc Brown, Back to the Future?
Yeah, I look like a mad person.
Yeah?
Like she's gone mad. And I don't know what to do because I can't get extensions. It's okay. Maybe I'll get wigs. I'll get wigs now.
I'm surprised you don't wear wigs.
Really?
In that you're very, I don't know, for lack of a better term, I don't know all the terms. You're very glam.
Well, I like glam.
You like glam.
I love it.
You're always doing something.
Yeah.
You're always fiddling with your makeup,
Or
with your
nails.
nails,
Yeah.
with your hair. I'm surprised you haven't just gone, full wig. Because you're obsessed with the housewives. Don't they all wear wigs?
They don't wear wigs. They wear
No?
extensions.
Okay.
That's different.
You did do that one time.
Shut up. Shut up. I
You had a
looked
real-
like a sister wife.
Yeah, you had
It
a
was
real
crazy.
LDS vibe about you.
It was so much money, too. It was like over $400
What?
for the human hair because you had to get the human one. There's different kinds. And then the lady, it was like 9 hours I was sitting there because she was braiding in this fake hair. Mm-hmm. And she was super nice,
It was
though.
so long.
It was so long. And I remember showing one of my friends like via text and I was like, what do you think? And she's like, wow, it's long. Like, when girls say like, oh, I'm just viewing what you're showing me. It's not a compliment.
Yeah.
It's like after a set where somebody comes up to you and is like, I like your shirt.
Yeah, yeah.
I got that a lot at open mics. Anyway, we're good.
I used to get, every now and then I would get, a couple hours ago, in all my sets, I do a lot of jokes about being overweight, but I used to get, at the end of the show, they'd shake my hand. Instead of saying you're funny or I enjoyed it, they go, you're not that fat. Okay.
Oh.
That's what you took away from okay, but thank you. I guess that's a compliment, but that's the only comment was just, you're not that fat.
Yeah, just lie.
You're not that
Just
funny,
say
but you're not that fat.
Good job. Or how about that?
So what can we do about your hair?
There's nothing to do. I don't know. I take biotin. I'm upset. Here's the thing. When I almost died years ago, since I had to have surgery quickly, my body went into trauma mode, I guess. And the hair lady was like, oh, yeah, that happens a lot to people because then it just stopped growing. Like I couldn't grow it.
So I didn't know that's
that was the
one
start
thing
of
had to do with it. For context, you spent 17 days in the hospital in New Orleans. You got a lung infection?
Yeah, I was an idiot. I was drinking my ass off, and I got walking pneumonia. I just thought I was hungover every day, and then I collapsed in the French Quarter. But I loved it, in a way.
You loved it. You loved being in the hospital for 17 days?
I kind of did, because I was taken care of. I had my own room. I got to watch like all the California. That's how I got into Bravo.
Kind of like a medically induced spa treatment.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I like that.
I would make the nurses laugh. It was fun, flirty, festive.
Man, waiting on you, hand and foot, 24/7 for 17 days.
I know. Lucky them.
Those nurses need a medal.
I know. They just kept. I think there is a cap on morphine and stuff, but I don't know what happened because they just let me have it because I was in so much pain and I would just always have the button. They did start ignoring the button.
Yeah.
I didn't have an advocate. You have to have an advocate. You have to have somebody in a hospital being like, "What's
You were there
going
alone.
on?" I was.
That was during one of our off-agains.
Yeah.
And had I known, even if we were off, I would have gone out there and sat with you.
Thank you.
Maybe not for 17 days, but
Yeah.
that does make me sad. Thank you.
Why?
Just you being there alone in a different
honestly-
city for 17 days by yourself.
I loved it. It was like a codependent boot camp. It was great. I kind of miss it.
So ever since then, your hair's just gone downhill.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So yeah, I understand male hair problems now.
Yeah. I'm dealing with that. I'm getting bald.
No, you have good hair and eyelashes.
I got a
It's super
big bald
annoying
spot
and good
brewing.
skin. I don't even know. You're a handsome man.
Yeah,
Good job.
I'm a real babe.
You
I'm a
are.
real babe.
How are you, Boo? What's
I'm
going on?
okay. I'm all right. I'm a little grouchy this morning.
Why?
Just because
Okay. Oh God.
it's donut related.
Oh Lord.
We went to Krispy Kreme a couple weeks ago,
Oh.
and I thought it was just an error, a faux pas,
I
or maybe
remember.
that specific branch. But they took the world's greatest dessert off their menu. All right, people who know me know I have strong feelings for Krispy Kreme. I'm pro Krispy Kreme. I'm not a Dunkin' guy. Dunkin' Donuts, they're embarrassing themselves. Well, they make great coffee.
They do make great coffee. I was about to say they make great coffee.
Make your coffee. Get the hell out of the donut game because you're embarrassing yourself, Dunkin' Donuts. They don't know what they're doing with the donuts. You would think it's in their name. They've been in business for, I don't know, ever since I've been alive. You think they'd figure out how to make a decent donut. Their donuts are trash. Krispy Kreme's superior. At least it was. The best dessert item I've ever had is the OG Krispy Kreme glazed cream filled. Everybody likes the regular glaze, which is great. Just their standard
Delicious.
signature donut.
Delicious.
It's absolutely delicious. Well, they used to have the Krispy Kreme glazed cream filled, which was the same glazed donut, but there was no hole in it. You know, it was the full donut minus the hole, and they needed the full donut because then they would insert buttercream, vanilla buttercream, not custard. Ugh. There's nothing worse than thinking you're biting into a filled buttercream donut and then you get that just bland.
Oh, I love the custard.
Just
it's like pudding.
Soulless, flavorless goop.
Okay, let's not get
that
into
is the
that
custard.
again. We're
It's
not
the
going to have the
custard's
custard fight.
problem. But my point is the buttercream. I love what's the little like French pastry that looks like a cream horn? You ever had a cream horn?
No.
Oh, it looks like a little cornucopia thing, and they put the buttercream in there. And kind of similar to like a cannoli, but much better in my opinion. Anyway, love buttercream.
Okay.
So they used to have the glazed cream filled, which was the full glazed donut with no icing or anything on top, just no chocolate. Now they've kept the chocolate iced cream filled.
Okay.
Which is what I'm explaining, but then they put the chocolate on top. The buttercream is so good it doesn't need chocolate. Chocolate confuses everything. Also, when they ice the top with chocolate, the whole donut is no longer glazed. All right. Ideally, if I was in charge, if you got to make the chocolate ice cream filled, you dunk the whole thing in glaze.
Great point.
Then put the chocolate on, then put the cream in, whatever. Point is, they used to have the glazed cream fill, which was just the greatest thing in the world. It got that buttercream in there, and you bite around it, and you get the big shot of butter. Oh, so good. Well, about 2 years ago, they changed that to what they called the original glazed original cream, which, and I loved this thing. This was their original glazed donut with the hole, but they somehow figured out how to insert a ring of buttercream into
delicious.
it. So you can take the glazed cream filled off the menu if we've got the original cream, original glaze. Original glaze, original cream is what they called it. Regular glazed donut, but with buttercream on the inside. And then they had a couple little stripes of it on top. And I was like, okay, this is great. They have since taken that off the menu. The only donut on their lineup that even has buttercream now is the chocolate iced, what do they call it? The chocolate iced donut with cream filling. But I'm looking at their lineup now. We got glazed raspberry. We got glazed lemon filled. We got chocolate iced custard filled. Ugh.
Well, I don't mind.
Chocolate iced with cream, cake battered donut. The best thing they ever had going was some sort of glazed with buttercream, whether it be the filled or whether it be the original with the ring inside. And I'm just I'm just disappointed. They got everything you could imagine now. Just a bunch of nonsense, but not. They got pumpkin spice, maple pecan.
Okay, enough with the pumpkin
chocolate
spice.
ice glaze with sprinkles. I mean, what are we doing? It's just been tough for me,
Well, also, it was our wedding cake.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? We just got a bunch of those donuts, and my nephew was in charge of doing the donut tower, and he misunderstood the assignment. It was a very sparse donut tower.
Yeah, I wanted it to be kind of filled up, and he spaced them out. But that's
Anyway,
neither here nor there.
but that was so good. I wonder why.
Maybe
it's too much work to put the thing, you know what I mean? It's more of a pastry. I know that donuts are pastries, but I'm just saying maybe it's more legwork for them to put the hole and the thing.
They got a bunch of cake donuts. Cake donuts are garbage.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
too dense, too crumbly. The light and fluffy, just the fried dough with the glaze and the cream. But these are the things that I worry about.
I
Boo.
understand,
So
and I'm sorry. Oh,
perfect timing. There's our timer. Shut up about donuts, Dave. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
But maybe it's a good thing because I'm off sugar.
I know.
I haven't
You've been
had
doing so good.
I've had no sugar, no carbs. This is day 7, and I want to die. But it's time to be less Dave.
A lot of meat.
I've lost 6 pounds this week.
It's amazing.
It's the Dave meltdown.
It's a lot of meat.
Yeah, I'm doing. I didn't want to talk about this too early because I wanted to get a little success behind me. I've only lost 6 pounds, but I was going to wait a few weeks to rack those numbers up. But yeah, I'm going full carnivore.
Good.
Full carnivore. You're not supposed to have coffee on the carnivore, but I don't have any sugar in this. I just have heavy cream. So some carnivore people, you can have dairy because it's anything that comes from an animal and dairy, being. But yeah, the real hardcore people are like, you're not even supposed to have coffee because it's a bean. Oh. Like everything should come from an animal. So I'm not that hardcore, but I've just removed all sugar and all carbs. And so no veggies, no starches, just meat. And
it's getting hard.
yeah.
Can I
a lot of
just
eggs, a lot of ribeye steaks.
It sounds amazing.
I never wanted to be in a position where I got sick of ribeye steak. Steak has always been symbolic, at least for me, of like, oh, things are going pretty well. I'm eating a steak tonight, not ramen or Jack in the Box.
Yeah.
But now I'm kind of getting sick of ribeye steak.
Well,
that's a bougie problem, I guess.
It is a bougie problem. But I think when I was like, oh, let's just switch to fish, the carnivore diet is more fatty meat, you told me.
Yeah, it's fatty meat. Obviously you can have fish and you can have chicken and stuff, but I think and I still don't know all the science behind it, but my whole life I was told to avoid fat, and now everybody on the internet's like, eat your fat, like fatty meat.
Yeah.
The fats from meat and stuff. So like lean chicken and fish and stuff, it'll pass, it'll do, but that's not ideal on the carnivore diet. But anyway, we'll see. 6 pounds in a week, no sugar, no carbs. Last night I just made a pork shoulder. Well, I stewed. I usually roast the pork shoulder, like kind of Cuban style, like lechon asada.
Lechon asada.
Instead, I did like a stewed thing. You nailed it.
Thank you.
And it just, it was a little mushy, but that's okay.
I'm concerned.
Yes.
Okay, here's the great thing about your dieting, and we'll move on. But I just want to say, great job. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
But I never realized how much I rely on you for food because lately, whenever you go on a really hardcore diet, I'm like, I want anything else. So now I'm into veggies because I got a little sick of meat.
Yeah, you're finally into veggies.
I know, and that's fun. But yeah, it's been very meat heavy, and I'm thrilled with your diet. It just, I like sides.
No, I do too.
The other day I had Bush's baked beans. It was delicious.
Yeah, you made them yourself.
Yeah, I put it in the microwave.
There you go.
Yep.
Not even in the saucepan on the stove.
That's too much work.
Microwaved canned baked beans. There we go.
They're very good. Can't be that bad for you. Beans are good.
They're good for your heart. More you eat them, more you toot.
Oh.
Nope.
Nope.
Beans, tropical fruit.
Boo, we're done with beans. We're done with beans, okay?
Beans are over, Dave. 562-548-2012.
In that order.
562-548-2012. That's the number you can call 24/7 and get in touch with old dumb Dave and Katie.
Yeah, we're doing calls again.
We want to hear from you.
We kind of took a break.
We took a break, but, I thought we'd get back in touch, and we got one queued up here.
Katie, girl, I need to know your take on the Lizzo allegations. Maybe that's what you were going to talk about anyway, but I need you specifically. I need to hear you talk about it and your take on it. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. She didn't leave a name, but thanks for checking in.
Yeah.
She doesn't care about my opinion.
No,
on
not
Lizzo,
at all.
and most people don't. Whenever there's Lizzo gossip and breaking news, very few people think, I wonder what Dave thinks. I'm not super familiar with Lizzo. I know who she is.
Yeah, she did that smash hit song I always jam to.
I've heard a few songs. I've been listening to her stuff more frequently in that my good buddy Joshua Ray Walker just released a new album, all female pop covers.
I love this
and
album.
he does, his first single was a Lizzo song.
Yeah.
I forgot the name of it. 'Cause I Love You or something. I don't know the original version. I don't know her version, but I just know that that's a Lizzo song.
Yeah.
And been listening to that whole album. So Lizzo's been on my brain lately because of old Joshua Ray Walker. By the way, if you don't know Joshua Ray Walker, you're a country music fan.
And also it's Dave's best friend.
He's a beast.
Just FYI.
We hung out. No big deal. But yeah, a great new album.
Okay, Lizzo.
Lizzo, she's a pop star. Now she's a big gal, right?
Okay, yes. She's all about body positivity.
Okay.
And about a year and a half ago, she was just blowing up.
And I don't mean that derogatory. I'm a big guy. I'm
yes.
a big guy. I didn't
mean
like
it
call it
that way either. Anyway, so she all about, there's Harvey. He loves Lizzo, obviously. So yeah, body positivity and all her dancers, everyone's like, you don't have to be a size 0, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's very...
Sure. Especially on Lizzo's
tour,
on her crew.
Okay.
You would think she would want people that, complement her size.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I liked Lizzo, what was that Amy Schumer movie? Trainwreck. She had a great song in that. And that's how I got started on the Lizzo train. But then I kind of fell off. But yeah, she apparently has been, I know this is an older story, but she's been sexually harassing her dancers.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder how so.
They always put blanket statements like sexual harassment. But I did hear in Amsterdam at like an adult strip club probably, she made one of her like either assistants or dancers touch someone inappropriately, like one of the people entertaining. Mm-hmm. So there's that. She also
made one of her dancers touch the exotic dancers.
Yeah, like go grab that guy's penis, I'm assuming, or something, or grab the woman's boobs. Mm-hmm. Who knows what got grabbed, but it's inappropriate. Mm-hmm. Also, she was verbally abusive, and she was actually getting mad at her dancers for gaining weight.
Really?
So she was body shaming people on.
And this
It's
is
okay.
a lady known for, what was that?
Harvey.
What'd he do?
He's. God. This is why we can't have nice things.
Oh, man.
He just knocks over the timers.
Yeah.
It's very rude.
Maybe that's why we shouldn't let the cats on the table while we're recording.
No, they need a nice space.
That's
Anyway.
It's a free range.
It's a free range.
So, but she's known, okay, however you want to slice it. She's a larger woman, which is fine. I'm a larger woman.
Yes.
But that's, and she's known for body positivity,
Yes.
but yet she's fat shaming her own backup dancers? Or?
Yes. And like a lot of verbal abuse. So when things like this come out, for some reason with Lizzo, I've always been like, like her vibe to me is interesting. Like I felt it wasn't really real. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like she was like body positivity. I felt like she was going on that train in a way to get people to be behind her.
Yeah.
This is all just my intuition. So when I heard this, I was like, oh, okay. Awful. I don't like when anybody abuses their power in any way.
Yeah.
And it's so much projection. Like I feel like when you're being that mean and that controlling, there's something going on with you, obviously, and the hate that you have within yourself. So it just seems to be just, I'm going to rule the world. It's just like, Donald Trump in a way.
Yeah, maybe somebody who gets that rich and famous, and often that equates to power. Maybe just I'm bulletproof. I can do and say and behave any way I want. And
I think she won a Golden Globe. I think she won like a bunch. Yeah, it was like a year of like, holy crap. And she had like an entourage of people. Like she really was just, a big thing. Oh, God. Pop star wise. And so when this came out, whenever stuff like this comes out, I think they have PR crisis teams where they call and they're like, help, this is a big deal. The fact that it took some time to even get a PR crisis team, to me, like, is the biggest red flag. Like, if this, then what else? We're only hearing little snippets. For these dancers, one just quit. 3 of them, I think, got fired for basically no reason, but they just didn't want to be verbally abused anymore, or they kind of stood up for themselves. So in that context, I just think I want to be a Lizzo fan, but I find that monstrous. Yeah. And almost cult leadery. Like I feel like a lot of pop stars or celebrities kind of get, okay, I'm great. I want to be surrounded by yes men. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like here, yes men. And then that power goes to their head. Yeah. Sexual harassment, word meanness, not a fan.
Word meanness?
I hate it. Get out of here, Lizzo.
The whole body positivity thing is interesting, too, because, I get it. I get not shaming people that may be, too big or whatever. But, it feels like, and I don't know when that whole thing started, 10 years ago, 5 years ago, the whole body positivity thing. But, no, that's great. We shouldn't ridicule and shame overweight people. At the same time, I don't know if it should necessarily be celebrated in that, regardless of how you feel about it and blah, 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 at the end of the day, being morbidly obese is not a good thing for your own health and probably for your own mental state. And, as a big guy, like I've dealt with it my whole life, like I know that I need to get smaller for my own health and for my own longevity. My point is, like, I've never been one, I've never done it myself because I've always been a big guy, but I definitely don't think overweight people should be ridiculed or shamed. But the whole I'm fabulous, like, you're okay, sure, you're fabulous, but you're also on a road to some repercussions health-wise. Like, it shouldn't necessarily be celebrated.
Right.
Like, look, I'm 100 pounds overweight. Cha-ching. Like, no, you know,
I think there's a balance,
it's your own
right?
thing. But yeah.
I think, yes, I love that we have models now that are regular size. That we have
I'm all for that. That's
campaigns
great.
that are people that are like me. It's not, there's no, I'm glad we're taking the perfection crap out of it. Because there's 2 ways to look at it. There's the Kardashians who literally look like walking avatars. And then
Yeah, they look ridiculous.
and I know they're beautiful, and they've created almost their own beauty.
That Mr. Potato Head thing, though.
Yeah. Well, but there's that end, and then there is that other end, which is, look at me, I'm I'm larger. I think you should celebrate yourself, but again, there's a balance.
Yeah.
There is self-care stuff, there is health stuff, and it doesn't mean you have to be a size 0. It just means, oh wait, like I want your insides to work well.
Yeah, for your own
As
health.
an ex-personal trainer, I'm like, okay, please just be careful. Like, because food, all that stuff, it catches up.
Yeah.
Like anything. Too much Botox catches up. You look like a fish after a while. It's just an interesting dichotomy. But to wrap up, Lizzo, our prayers are with you. Please just get better. Let's take accountability. Let's say, okay, you know what? Yeah, I was in Amsterdam and I was crap-faced. I shouldn't have made my dancers do that. I'm sorry. And let's move on. You know what I mean? And figure out how to make it right.
Yeah.
And
well,
yeah.
and
And I know that takes courage, though. And that takes self-reflection. And a lot of people don't like that.
well, I think it all also just funnels down to just don't be a shithead.
Yeah.
Stop being a shithead.
I know.
Lizzo, like that sounds like shitty behavior. Just don't be a shithead.
Yeah.
Look at that.
All right.
Perfect timing.
All right.
Let's get another call in.
Good morning. Happy Monday, Stonebergs. This is Maverick from Central Valley, California. I'm very grateful, thankful for your podcast, for the distraction. Just being, me and my family have been going through it. Anyways, I'm on TikTok now as well. I started following Katie. I bugged her with one comment. BS_serpents is what I'm trying to do. Blue Sheep Serpents. It's a Patreon. Just hoping to do something different. I'm a hard worker, not afraid of hard work. I love my job now. Got a new job this year, but it's just not enough. And we just keep going through it. So just thank you so much for listening. And the first goal is just 50 patrons. I'll probably bug you tomorrow. Just thank you. And you guys have a great day.
Aw. Hi, Maverick.
That's old Maverick. Maverick, my apologies. Some of these phone calls kind of go into different folders, and I didn't really realize that
Yeah.
he's called a lot in the last few months.
Aw.
And Maverick, I don't want you to think that we were purposefully ignoring you.
Yeah, we're not ignoring.
But,
Also, TikTok, I am the worst at, Maverick. I'm trying to get better. So I'm sorry if I just liked a comment or if I didn't respond in I just have ADHD and I go back to Instagram stories of, Anyway, also, I'm sorry your family's going through it. That's hard.
Yeah, that's never good. I mean,
I hope.
family stuff.
Yeah.
I hope everything's
But the snake thing, I'm not.
better. But yeah, so he didn't really have a question per se, and screening some of his old phone calls, couldn't really find a question. But I think he's a listener. He's an avid listener. We certainly appreciate that.
Yeah.
Maverick. That's a rad name, by the way. I hope that's your real name.
I love that.
Hey, this is Maverick Jones over here. But his TikTok, BS_serpents. I'm on there now.
Oh, okay. What did
And
he do? What's happening?
it's just it's a snake thing. His profile: busy family man, snake keeper / breeder. Venmo at BS_serpents. Patreon.com/BS_serpents. So
he sells snakes.
yeah, I'm assuming. Yeah, he's a keeper / breeder. So
Okay.
he's got snakes and he breeds snakes. What if he didn't sell them? I just like to watch them breed.
I make videos of snakes.
Look at them go.
Snakes are interesting to me. I am, reptiles have always been, they got a harsh rap,
Yeah, reptiles are cool. I don't know if they're, I'm always leery. No offense to you, Maverick. I'm always leery of people that have reptiles or amphibians or whatever as pets.
Right.
I mean, I love turtles and lizards and shit, but I just, I guess I'd like to have a big, what is it? What's an aquarium without water? Terrarium? Yeah,
Terrarium.
I wouldn't mind having a terrarium with some turtles hanging out or whatever, but I don't think I've ever met somebody who's like really into reptiles and stuff, where I'm like, I want to hang out with that dude.
Right.
Not that there's anything wrong with him, but he's walking on a different path.
You know what's interesting to me too? Snakes always baffled me with the eggs. They lay eggs. I don't know why. I guess that's my stupid brain associating it with birds. I appreciate eggs. Do you make snake egg omelets like chicken eggs? Is that a thing?
It's a great question. I mean, it's a dumb question, but it's a great question.
Super dumb.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting to say. But Maverick, I love that you're into something.
Yeah.
It's good to be into something.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to sell some snakes, there's a market for snakes.
Is there?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm assuming there is, or else Maverick wouldn't be pursuing this business venture.
But I wish you great success, and also way to just start something. It's hard to just get going with a side hustle.
He's got a butterbee ball python on here.
What's a butterbee ball python?
Butterbee ball python.
Is it just pretty? Is it like white and yellow?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got a Blanche. I don't know if that's the species or the name.
Oh, that's
Blanche
cute.
is just a kind of an albino, solid white looking thing. Yeah, snakes. Do your thing, buddy. I'm not here to judge. Perfect timing. Let's wrap that one up.
Give it the light.
Thank you, Maverick.
Thanks, Maverick.
Best of luck. If we have any listeners that are really into snakes and you want to join his Patreon, what did I say?
Underscore
Patreon.com/BS_serpents.
There you go.
Trying to get up to 50 patrons.
Do it.
Me too. I'm trying to reach 50 patrons. We're knocking on the door of 50 at Dave's Kitchen Patreon. If I'm going to plug somebody else's Patreon, I'm going to plug my own as
Good.
well.
Get it.
I don't have any snakes, but I cook a bunch of stuff. Patreon.com/Dave's Kitchen. I think I'm in the 40s now. I would love to one day get triple digits on that Patreon, but it's a slow work in progress, and Maverick can sympathize with that. But best of luck to you, Maverick.
Best of luck.
Appreciate you checking in. I'm sorry we missed all these other calls.
I know.
But yeah. So anyway, 562-548-2012. We want to get back into the calls.
Yeah, if you have
forward.
a question or if you need encouragement, you don't even have to leave your name.
You can text us at that same number as well.
Yes.
So yeah. But,
Give us a little shout out.
Trying to be a little more listener interactive here on the Stonebergs. But another thing we've been trying to do in the last several weeks or months in terms of reformatting the program is delve into a different topic each week. And like we've said before, we don't really know what the theme of our podcast is. But if I had to come up with a quippy little slogan, I would probably say the Stonebergs, Adventures in Human Behavior.
I would agree.
We didn't really set out for it to be that theme, but just by our nature as both comedians, I'm always interested in the way people behave, and then you with your background with mental health.
Over 20 years of therapy.
Therapy and different meds and stuff.
Self-help.
You obviously have taken quite an interest in how not only your but other people's brain works and what motivates certain types of behavior. We're trying to dive into some different topics each week. And as you can see with your beautiful
I made a
sign here, I have no idea what shadow work is. Now, are you being cute, or is that how the term is spelled?
I was being cute.
Okay.
It's just work, but I was so proud of this sign. See, here's the thing. I got a stair stepper in the mail. From Amazon, and I decided to recycle the cardboard and put our topics on it each week.
There you go. Look at you.
So yeah.
You're so crafty.
I'm crafty.
Got a little easel back there.
So shadow work. That's what we're talking about.
Shadow work. Now, I know about shadow people. We used to talk about that some on the Boogie Monster.
Okay, so what's shadow people?
Shadow people are like these entities. Nobody knows if they're, supernatural or if they're ghosts, but just have you ever been trying to fall asleep in your bedroom and all the lights are out, and then sometimes you think maybe in the corner you saw like an outline of a human figure?
Oh my God. Yes.
Like a shadow.
Yes.
Walking down the hall where there shouldn't be a shadow, that kind of stuff. So that's
And is it a ghost or is it an actual
nobody knows.
thing? Okay.
Yeah. We didn't.
Wow.
Per usual on the Boogie Monster, we never solved any mysteries or came to any logical conclusions on any of those topics. But point being, that's the only thing I know about shadow stuff is just, obviously I'm familiar with an actual shadow, but when you first started talking about shadow work, I thought maybe it had something to do with shadow people, but this is something completely different.
Well, it's interesting because it is a very similar thing. Also, Boogie Monster is hilarious and amazing, and I loved how you guys did it.
Well, thank you.
Just side note.
On hiatus.
So shadow
I don't
work,
know, and by the way,
Oh,
to answer,
boy.
I don't know when we're coming back. We get a lot of, we've been on hiatus for a few months now, and I didn't realize how upset that would make so many listeners. So in a way, I'm flattered that people give a crap enough. But yeah, probably every day I get a message about why'd you get rid of that? When's it coming back? And there was no falling out, by the way. There was nothing like that. Kyle and I still remain great friends. But I've had enough of him. I need a break. I'm just kidding. That's another story for another day. But anyway, you brought up Boogie Monster.
Listen,
so, yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so shadow work comes from the concept of shadow self.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty self-explanatory, right? So, no? Okay.
No, I don't know what shadow self is.
Okay, so according to psychologist, Jung.
Carl Jung?
Yes, Carl
I think
Jung.
technically people Jung,
Jung.
but I think just Jung.
Jung.
Point being, it's the Y, not the J sound.
So Jung and Freud, that was around the same period. So Freud is another psychologist, and he kind of came up, you'll hear like Freudian slip or whatever, and that is his way.
Is that when he fell down the staircase?
Exactly. And then that's how you do therapy.
Gotcha.
You just go and fall downstairs every session. It's real good. But he was all about the subconscious mind. So when you dream, it means something, right? It's a window into, that means, you and your mother have fights because you dreamed about a certain thing or whatever the dream interpretation is. That was what he kind of started his study in.
And he was big into the mother concept.
Mother, father,
and how that relates
patriarch.
to you.
Yes, 100%.
I mean, the obvious thing there's, I guess, one of the characteristics of him is people say that he led it all back. Everything led back to you want to sleep with your mom.
It really was.
That's really bizarre.
Yeah, he had some stuff. He definitely had some stuff. He had some shadows. But okay, so Dr. Jung was all about personality, the persona that we show to everyday people, and how we show that in public. And the shadow self is what we remain private. We hide it, right? So unlike the persona, the shadow becomes traits of a person that you don't like. You don't want anyone to know about, right?
Okay.
So I always was like, okay, I want to be seen as perfect. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to show any of my
shadow
weirdness.
Meaning like we'll keep this in the dark.
Yes.
Keep it
Yeah,
hidden.
so to remember it, it's like that thing that brings you shame. That you grew up, and what was the first thing of shame that you felt? And that's kind of how you start. Okay, so this is some deep crap. So let's get into it. I don't view shadows as negative. As I always say, I love all the shades of people, and I do. And I prefer knowing shadows because that's what makes you a person. Every single person has a shadow, by the way. Even Mother Teresa had one. It's a part of you that makes us human, right?
Sure. Yeah, no one's perfect.
No.
No one wants to reveal or expose every single detail about their personality or their past or whatever.
So the goal of shadow work is to look at your shadow and your persona you present to the world, and you can learn to kind of integrate it, right? So you want to accept yourself. I do this. Crap, this comes up in different ways. That's why I do it. So it's really like cognitive behavioral therapy, but real inner work, because Jung, like Freud, was all about the subconscious. So he thinks dreams are important and stuff, but it's in a different way. So he was almost more spiritual, if that makes sense. So I was going to start with like a little quiz, if
Okay.
you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, you want to do a shadow work? It's only 15 questions, and
Okay.
we're going to see what your shadow is.
Oh, boy.
Yay, let's see. And this is by the way, guys, I'm not a psychiatrist. I have no degree in anything. This stuff just fascinates me. Okay.
I always love that preface. Now, keep in mind, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Well, I just am telling people so they don't get all
No, I
pissy.
appreciate that, but yeah.
Okay. Number 1. As a child, A, my parents accepted some parts of me, but not others. B, I was given permission to be by myself. C, my parents flat out rejected me.
I'd probably say the A, the first one. Yeah.
Cool.
And that again is
Must
the
be nice.
what was that answer? What is A?
My parents accepted some parts of me, but not others.
Yeah, I feel like
Or was it B, I was given permission to be myself?
no, I definitely there was definitely my parents were great, but there was definitely unstated restrictions put on my personality and behavior. Just meaning I wasn't allowed to just do and say whatever I wanted whenever I wanted.
Right.
They were very traditional in the sense that, when we're in church, you shut the hell up and pay attention. Or when company's over, you put on some good manners and, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But for the most part, they weren't like, you hear like some friends or whatever grew up, on the West Coast with super liberal parents and they were allowed to express themselves and do it. There was none of that. There was definitely kind of a filing cabinet that we were supposed to put ourselves in. Like, you behave this way, and then, depending on the situation or the scenario, we'll give you room to express yourself and be a kid. But there was definitely expectations set on our behavior and our personality as far as how we were supposed to behave and how we were supposed to act. And then
Mine
to a
was
certain degree, how
different.
you're supposed to think. I mean, that's my problem with, conservative culture in general of like, just, you can raise a kid in a manner of, you teach them manners, you teach them values and stuff, but just when you start that whole, I'm a Republican because my daddy was a Republican. And I
Right.
think this because my daddy thought. Well, that's all great, but you ever form any opinions of your own?
Okay,
Anyway,
so
that's another
as a
conversation.
child, for me, I'm going to do this with you in tandem so you don't feel alone. Okay, so one parent did flat out reject me, but the other parent loved me. So I'm going to go with flat out rejected, just because I don't think they really accepted parts of me. Anyway, number 2.
What do you mean by that, though? Let's not gloss over this. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay, so
How did they reject you? What parts of you did they not accept?
you know what? I think they were tired.
Yeah,
I think they were so tired.
because
They
you were the third of 3.
My dad calls it the trailer.
You were the
most
youngest.
expensive accident
And
ever.
you've mentioned that you weren't necessarily planned.
Nope.
So I could see how that would be like, we're doing this again.
Yeah, imagine 8 years. You have a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old, 2 girls.
Yeah.
You're like, cool. They're getting into the fun ages, kind of whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, hey, I'm coming in.
Knock, knock.
And
But how when you say your dad rejected you, what do you mean by that?
I felt rejected a lot because, and I look back at it, and that was me being very sensitive. But and you know me, if I feel something in the room or if there's like tension, I'm just like, what's happening? Like I just felt like I was always walking on eggshells and couldn't be myself, to the point where my mom thought I was an introvert all the way. Like because I grew up on a ranch, kind of isolated, alone, and yeah. Oh, this is hard to get into. I don't know why.
Ooh.
I know.
Are we shining light on your shadow?
Yeah, I guess so. Shit. Okay, we'll keep going because here we go. No.
You don't have to talk about anything if it makes you uncomfortable.
No. I'm not
Or
uncomfortable.
triggers you.
No. Long story short, I think my parents were working so hard. They were farmers. And my dad also had a trucking company that he worked out. And so he was just always kind of pissed. Like when dad came home, it was like, room clean, everything clean. And I would just kind of hide for a while.
Yeah.
But my mom did think I was just super quiet and an introvert. But then I was in Girl Scouts growing up, and I loved Girl Scouts. In fact, they had to like kick me out because I didn't want to be a leader. I like went through high school being a Girl Scout.
Really? When do you age out of the Girl Scouts?
Yeah, like before high school.
Before high school?
Yeah,
Okay.
like you either become a leader, which I didn't like little kids, but I just wanted to be a part of a group. Anyway, we're good. Linda seems the leader. She kind of put it by Troop 408. You know what I mean? It's like that was my jam.
You got to go find your own way now, Katie.
Ugh, I know I didn't like it. But I did make a mean cookie.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, the Girl Scouts would also make cookies?
No, we would decorate them. We would always do kind of a fun craft.
That just seems like a conflict of interest.
Well, I don't know. She had to keep our hands busy.
I
Okay. But my mom would pick me up from Girl Scouts or a friend's house, and I was just me. Like I was singing and entertaining, and if I was at my Nana's house, I would always put on plays, and I just was like who I am. It was almost like I got accepted.
Yeah.
And so I remember my mom saying when I was like 11 or 12, like, "Oh, you're a different person." And I remember being kind of shamed by that. Like, oh yeah, why don't I do this at home? Now looking back, of course, I didn't want to like upset anybody. I wanted to just kind of keep out of the way.
Yeah.
I always kind of felt like, I'm here if you need me, but I know that I'm a lot. So that's kind of how I always was like growing up. So yeah.
Right on.
All right, number 2. Are you
Didn't
ready?
mean to turn this back onto you.
No, it's good. I'm glad. As a teenager, A, I felt completely alone and isolated from others. B, I was versatile and adapted well to new situations. Or C, I hated school but enjoyed hanging out with friends.
B, yeah.
You were versatile and adapted well to new situations?
Yeah, I enjoyed my teen years. I was, I had fun in high school.
Okay.
I had pals. I was playing sports.
Okay.
I had girlfriends.
Okay.
I definitely went through certain peaks and valleys like any teen, but for the most part, I felt, I'm not saying like I was super popular, but, I had friends, and I think sports had a lot to do with that. Sports was a great way, at least I can't speak from a woman's point of view, but obviously, but sports were great for me as a child because A, it gave you something to do. B, it forced you to be social with your teammates and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
And then, once you get into high school and stuff, it definitely helps as far as popularity and status. Like, oh, Dave's on the football team.
Yeah, right.
Just not that, a lot of value should be placed on that, but I'm just saying my particular situation was just, I had plenty of dickhead buddies.
Yeah, you had friends.
I had stuff to do.
Cool.
I enjoyed. I was thinking about that when you're talking about Girl Scouts. I was a Cub Scout for 1 year, which is a precursor to the Boy Scouts, like kindergarten or first grade or whatever. And it was okay, but then like the next year I started playing sports. I played soccer. And then just my whole elementary school career and middle school, I was never involved in the Boy Scouts ever again other than that 1 year. And it just always felt like, for me, that was like, oh, that's for boys that don't play sports. Like, why do I want to? Because I didn't understand. Like, I get like the camaraderie and being a part of a group, and there's a lot of positive things that can come from that.
Knots, a lot of knot work.
But the competitive little goober in me was like, well, what's the end game here?
Yeah,
like y'all aren't competing against any. I was just like, why would a boy go do that when you could just join the baseball team or the soccer team or the basketball team or like. For me, in my opinion, that was always like, oh, those are for boys that don't like sports.
You were such a cool kid.
I mean, I don't know if that makes me cool.
You weren't trying to avoid home, though. It wasn't like I'm avoiding my house because you were so busy with sports and stuff. Yeah,
I wasn't avoiding, but it also, I guess, was like, before you can drive, before you're 16 or whatever, it's like, what else am I going to do? I need something to do. Like, I never understood that. I know we're veering off here, but talking about just my perspective as a little kid, I didn't understand boys that didn't play or enjoy sports at all. Like, well, what do you do then? Mm-hmm. And now I get, like, yeah, they weren't for everybody. And looking back, I wish I would have maybe spent less time playing sports and more time, like, learning to play an instrument or being in the drama club or whatever. Like, but, when you're 12 and you're a boy, you're like, what do you mean you don't play sports?
Right.
I was just like, And then in high school, it's like, okay, well, some of those kids that don't play sports, they're into band, they play music, or they're into theater, they're skateboarders, or even that was athletic. But like, I just didn't understand. Like, I would meet kids my age, and I'm like, so what sport do you play? And they're like, I don't. And I'm like, what? What do you mean? So that's just so bizarre to me. But yes, I had, B. I adapted pretty well.
Okay, as a teenager, I did hate school, but I did enjoy hanging out with friends because I had a core group. We called ourselves the Fab Five.
There you go.
And okay, Aaron, it was cool.
I thought that was Charlie.
Okay.
That's Aaron in the background
Aaron in the
again.
background. Shout out to Aaron, our director, producer extraordinaire. Okay, so we were called the Fab Five. Now I look back, we kind of isolated ourselves, but we were cool. Like, it was weird. Like, we were fun.
We didn't have any other friends, and we didn't do anything, but we were cool.
No, but that's the thing. We were I was like class treasurer and class secretary and all that crap. And I was voted most spirited.
Of course you were.
Senior year. I was prom queen by default because you could only be one. Like, anyway, long story short, I was a big deal. Okay? But I wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Harley and Eric and all the other members of the Fab Five were like valedictorians and nerdy cool, and Harley was great at cross country, and Eric was, I don't know. Long story short, I and Christina and Annie, they were cheerleaders and really cool in that group. And then there was me that was like, I play soccer. I got coach's award because I would just sit on the bench. I also did cross country because I didn't want to get fat. And then I did track because Harley did it. That's it.
What'd you do in track?
Okay, so I did the 800. That's 2 laps. Okay. And then I also did the mile. That's 4 laps. And then I did the big one, which was like the 2 mile, which is 8 laps, which no one watches. And we would have to start at like earlier in the track meet.
Good for you.
Yeah. So I was always busy, but I was avoiding home. Because, my sister passed away when I was 13, right before high school. And my house kind of became sad. And of course, my parents lost their firstborn. So, yeah, I look back on that and I'm like, oh, that's why. And it kept me busy and it was really good. So, okay, next. I feel, as an adult, I feel bored and sometimes restless, but otherwise okay. B, I feel well adjusted to my responsibilities. Or C, I feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed most of the time.
Probably somewhere between A and B.
Okay.
An A plus. I don't know.
So you feel bored and sometimes restless,
Sometimes
but otherwise
I'm bored and
okay.
Restless. Yeah, sometimes I get bored and restless, even though, I preached at you one time that creative people should never be bored.
I said that too to you.
Meaning, and I try to adhere to that, but like if you're a creative person, you should never be bored in the sense that if you find yourself being bored, then go create. If you're a comedian, write. If you're a musician, play. If you're whatever, do whatever. If you're creative, if you have any creative ability and if you have any creative outlet, then, in theory, that person should never be bored.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do that right now. I'm lazy. So if I choose not to, go work on my craft or whatever, then beyond that, now I'm bored.
Oh, see, I love being lazy, but that's a problem. Okay, so I put that for you. As an adult, so I'm in between. I feel bored and sometimes restless, but otherwise okay. Or I feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed most of the time. But I feel lost, confused, and overwhelmed most of the time is my anxiety and crap.
Sure.
So I don't know which one to do because I'm on meds. So I guess I'll just do.
And what was B again?
I feel well adjusted to my responsibilities. I am not well adjusted at all.
I think you're pretty well adjusted.
Well, I'm medicated.
But so?
I mean, I'll do, adjusted. Okay, next one. Are you ready?
Now, are you going to tally my score and this is all going to mean something?
Yes, this is 15 questions. We're on number 4.
Okay.
This is going to mean something.
Sure.
Is it too long?
No, I was just wondering where we're going.
This is going. Well, and by the way, this is lonerwolf.com.
Sure, man.
So it's not, I don't know if it's anyway.
Yeah, be careful. That'll get you on a list.
Okay. When a difficult situation arises in my life, A, I try to find the lessons to be learned. B, I feel panicky and unprepared. Or C, I grit my teeth and get on with it.
A or C.
I try to find the lessons to be learned, or C, I grit my teeth and get on with it.
I mean, a little bit of both.
Okay, so which one? You only choose one. It's lonerwolf.com, everybody. You get one shot.
I grit my teeth and try to get on with it.
Cool. All right, and then I'm going to say, because we got to go through these. Sorry. All right, so stop talking about yourself. When a difficult situation arises in my life, I feel panicky and unprepared. Yay! Okay, when someone wrongs me, A, I try to forgive them. B, I get deeply upset and hold a grudge. Or C, I get angry and withdraw my trust.
I mean, this is my problem with all these type of quizzes.
I know you hate
because they're so general and vague. You know, when someone wrongs me, does that mean a stranger in traffic that I don't know, or a friend I've trusted for years?
Let's go with a friend you've trusted for years.
Okay.
Because I don't think they're talking about strangers, because this is some inner deep shit.
Yeah, because I do have issues with that, with
Okay.
road rage and stuff.
We all know. Don't drive with Dave.
Give me the options again.
I try to forgive them. I get deeply upset and hold a grudge, or I get angry and withdraw my trust. 3, 2, 1.
Probably C.
I get angry.
I'm not proud of that, but I withdraw. Like, and again, what do you mean by wrongs me? You know, like if my buddy was 10 minutes late for lunch, that might annoy me, but he didn't necessarily wrong. But then I've had friendships in the past where, you know, just complete stab in the back, and it was like, oh shit, I never saw that coming from you. I trusted you. You were up here for me, but now that you've done this, I'm withdrawn. I'm angry and withdrawn.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally.
So I'm definitely guilty of getting angry and withdrawing from, you know, people who I felt like have wronged me.
100%. I get deeply upset and hold a grudge. I
try not to
that.
hold a grudge. Like, I know it's definitely human nature to do so, but that's something I've tried to get around as far as, like, you know, what good does that do to hold a grudge?
And also, we all do it. We all do it. We all get wronged, and we all feel like, oh, God. But that's why forgiveness is a big deal, and that's really hard for me. That's for sure hard. Next question. I have dark and disturbing thoughts. Sometimes, frequently, or rarely, but when I do, I accept them. That's you. I have dark and disturbing thoughts.
Oh, this is just a yes or no?
Yeah, sometimes, frequently, or rarely.
Oh, sometimes, frequently, or rarely.
Yeah.
Dark and disturbing thoughts?
And rarely, but when I do, I accept them.
Probably rarely.
Okay. Good.
And again, an example being what?
I know.
Like,
This
I have
frustrates
dark and disturbing thoughts when I think about the shit I saw when I was a cop. You know, sometimes that's in the back of my mind, and that's dark and disturbing. But as far as just, you know, starting from a neutral position, you know, am I often inundated with dark and disturbing thought? And again, what would qualify as a dark and disturbing thought? But like,
no, these are great questions. And you're a critical thinker and very logical. So yeah, I can imagine this test is bothering you. Okay, but we'll get through it. Okay, last we got 6 more.
You don't have to rush.
Well, I'm sorry. I just feel
we're
like
not on a time limit. Whatever.
Well, okay. I am addicted to people/things that sabotage my health. Yes or no?
Well, definitely not people, but you know, I guess I could be guilty of being addicted to food that sabotages my health.
Okay, yeah, that could be a thing. I'm addicted. Yes, weed. Yep. I don't
think the weed is sabotaging your health, though, is it?
I don't know. I'm just.
That's how I kind of justify my alcohol and drug use. And no, what I mean, and I'm being serious here. Like, I know this is something an alcoholic would say, but like, I don't think alcohol's, other than my health, I know alcohol's not good for your health, but it's never affected my life in that it's never cost me my job. It's never cost me a relationship. It's never you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And we were talking about this yesterday off air, and I think we've talked about this before on the podcast, but like, there are times if I'm just kind of footloose and fancy free, where like this week I'm partying and don't really care, where I can really booze it up with the best of them. And then sometimes I used to think, you know, oh, am I an alcoholic? And I definitely don't think I am for this one example. It's when, like, my favorite drink is a bourbon and Coke.
Mm-hmm.
And if we have a 6-pack of Coke and a bottle of Bullet in there, that's going to always be tempting to me. Like, especially at night when it's time to unwind and watch the game. Like, a bourbon and Coke is always tempting to me. Mm-hmm. That is always tempting to me. But, however, there's been many a times where we have bourbon but no Coke. And sometimes if I'm trying to watch my calories but still want to drink, I'll drink bourbon on the rocks. That's fine. But I don't crave just bourbon on the rocks or bourbon neat the way I crave bourbon and Coke. So my logic is like, I'm not addicted to the alcohol. I'm addicted to the sugar.
Right.
And I truly, this isn't just me justifying my behavior, but like,
I agree with
seriously, if we had bourbon in there right now with no Coke, even I haven't drank in a week now, that would be no temptation to me. But if we had some ice cold Coke and bourbon, I'd be like, oh man, I'd really like to get on that.
100%.
So based on that logic, I think it's the sugar I had a problem with, not necessarily the alcohol.
Okay.
So
I agree. Next one, ready? I feel as though there are many sides of me that haven't been fully expressed. A, probably. B, definitely. I have a lot to express that I keep hidden. Or C, not really. I'm very self-expressive.
C, I'm self-expressive in
That's
that
true.
I'm a comedian and a podcaster, and I have ample opportunity to express myself in any format. So
Okay. I put probably. I used to not. I used to be, you knew me. I do that persona thing where I'm happy Katie and like everything's fine. And I feel like I have to entertain for people.
Yeah.
And keep talking, and it could come off almost narcissistic, but I'm just filling space. Because again, when my sister passed, I wanted my parents to be happy. So my dad never wanted me to cry about my sister's death. He would yell at me if I did. And so I
Jeez.
became
should let
like a comic.
let her cry.
Yeah.
Said a wise man one time named Hootie.
Hootie. And the blowfish? Yeah. Let her cry. I love
That's just, I'm not crapping on your dad, but like,
No, it was harsh.
13-year-old girl just lost her sister. She's going to need to cry a little bit, David.
Well,
Chill
yeah.
out.
And I just think that was his stuff. I mean, I can't imagine being a parent and being in his position, but yeah, that makes sense. Like, I just went all the way happy and I just hid my shadowy self. Like, okay, no, grief is bad. All this is bad. Let's hide it. All right, next. Around other people, I feel A, withdrawn, anxious, paranoid. B, fueled, excitable, open to sharing. Or C, shy at first and observant.
I mean, this might sound weird coming from a comedian, but I've always fell under the shy and observant category.
Interesting.
In that, like, I get enough attention on the podcast and on stage. I never wanted to be one of these comedians because they're so damn annoying. These comics that just can't turn it off, even when you're hanging after the show. Like, I can name you a dozen comics off the top of my head where, like, great comics, nice people, but dude, can you stop dancing? Can you calm down?
Yeah, always
We're
on.
off stage.
It's like improv people.
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm one of you.
Right.
You don't have to do this for me.
right.
So I've always been, and it is weird, I guess, to be shy. Not that I'm shy, but I hate attention off stage. Meaning,
Yeah.
last week I was talking about being at the Dodgers-Braves game, and there's just the guy just yelling at the umpire the whole day. I never want to be that guy. I mean, I can have fun in public and I can cut loose, but I don't need attention from strangers in public. I hate that.
Yeah.
The guy driving through the parking lot, blasting his car stereo. Ugh.
Yeah.
Who wants all these people looking at you?
They need that attention. Yeah.
No, I've never been or wanted to be that guy. So
Yeah.
I'd much rather just observe.
Well, I think, I definitely get fueled and open to sharing with people because I like people. I could be one of those people if I'm not artistically doing stuff, because you want to get your crap out.
And maybe that's the thing. Maybe the people I'm talking about don't have an outlet like a podcast or a stand-up comedy show or whatever. So, I don't know what it's like. Well, I do know what it's like to be that guy because I wasn't always a comedian. But even in my younger days, I don't think... I mean, high school, you're around your buddies. That's a different situation. You're always... But my default just in public, I never was the look at me guy.
Yeah. Okay, next one. I have a mental illness, depression, OCD, bipolar. A, not that I know of. B, yes, I do. Mine's yes, I do.
I mean, yeah, I guess I suffer from a certain degree of depression, but I always just assumed, a certain amount of that is just human nature.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want to meet the person who's never been depressed at all. But
well, again, that's embracing shadows,
yeah,
right? That's
yeah.
embracing, oh, I feel sad.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. But, we'll put it this way. I've never, and I feel like I'm fairly self-aware, but I've never been to the point where I thought, well, I need to go talk to a professional, or I need to get on meds, or I've
So
never
we'll
been to
put not
therapy
that I
and I've
know
never
of.
been on meds. So,
Yeah.
So
You've never been diagnosed with a mental illness.
I don't
Okay,
think-
cool. I have many. Okay, my outlook on life is A, realistic, apathetic. B, optimistic or hopeful. Or C, pessimistic.
Oh, boy, that's a tough one.
I know. So realistic, apathetic. B, optimistic or hopeful. C, pessimistic.
I would say A,
Okay.
realistic and apathetic.
You are realistic. But you are super positive, though.
I'm positive.
You're one of the most positive people
Well,
I
I
know.
try to be, but at the same time, I think that's a choice. That's me choosing to focus on the positive and the good in life because, it would be very easy to, especially in the day and age that we live in, to be, pessimistic. Like maybe I'm pessimistic about the world in general or humanity in general, but at the same time, I can't consciously and willingly be that way because my actual life is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I feel like, and I know people like that. I mean,
Yeah, we've
I've got
talked
real
about-
good friends that are very successful, very respected, doing what they're meant to do, and that's still not enough. It's like, so, and I know that, success or money doesn't necessarily equate to happiness, but I try to, whenever I do get down or pessimistic, I try to remember oh, okay, well, look at your actual life and things are pretty good.
Yeah.
So it would be disingenuous of me to just walk around just, Mr. Grouchy all the time when, and again, not a humble brag or not, but I'm sure there are certain people out there that would look at my life or my whatever and be like, that seems pretty okay.
Yeah.
So I have to remind myself of that. And I think that self-awareness keeps me from being pessimistic and negative too much.
Right.
So
I agree. I think mine is I'm optimistic. It took a long time, but like you were saying, they have this saying in therapy and stuff, which is there's a good wolf and a bad wolf inside of you, inside of your brain, kind of the yin yang thing. And whatever you feed is what will grow.
Okay.
So I think that must be hard for comics and I am a comic. I have to say that now. But
you are a comic.
if you have a negative perception, that's got to be tough because then you just grow that and grow that and grow that. And that might be super funny at first, but then it just gets into your whole life, it feels like. Anyway, okay.
That's what attracted to you initially, by the way,
Really?
was just your general sense of positivity.
Oh, Lord.
Because especially living out here and being surrounded by comedians, there's so many people of your generation or my generation or younger, especially out here, especially in the comedy world, that are just jaded and cynical and over it. And I get it. I get why some people are that way. But I felt like I was, at the time I met you, I felt like I was just inundated with all my peers and everybody was just over it and jaded and cynical. And then when I met you, you're just like, hey, I'm a goofball. And I'm like, who's that gal? I love, and I'm getting sappy now, but I've told you this off air, seriously, your energy and your spirit, it's like a vitamin for me. I need it every day because so many people are just a bummer. And again, I get it. I get why you might be bummed out,
course.
whomever.
Life is so hard.
The world, the country,
Yes.
maybe your personal situation. But at the end of the day, we're still human beings that get to live and breathe, and we have our health, and we live in America, and we're free to do it. And I know, yes, we could dissect things to death, and there's always problems. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm a semi-able-bodied, semi-intelligent human being
living in a first world country.
Living in a first world country.
Yeah.
I don't have to go out and kill my dinner every night. I don't
Right.
have to go, you know, find my water and bring it back. Like, there's a lot of convenience and luxury that I enjoy, and I try to remind myself of that and appreciate that. And that's why, like, your energy and your positivity was such a breath of fresh air when we first met. And that's why I was like, she's going to be in my life.
I know.
But you really are like a vitamin,
Aw,
Boo, and I
thank
need
you.
you every day.
Well, ditto.
You know, because you're just...
we should get married.
And not
Just
that...
kidding. We already are.
And not that, you know, you're this way 24/7. I mean, you've been very open about your
Cried
struggles
last
and
night,
stuff.
by the way.
But my point is, we all have our things and we all have peaks and valleys. But what's your default? You know, what's your average? What's your default? Like, when everything is just, you know, not out of whack, is your default optimistic and positive, or is your default just I'm a negative curmudgeon? And I feel like your default is just optimistic and positive, and it's just so refreshing, and just I bask in it. So,
Well,
I love your vibe, Boo.
I love your vibe, and I'm not just trying to compliment you, but side note, you're such a grounding person in the warmest, loveliest way. And what you do is create an environment of welcoming and fun, and you have such depth to you that it grounds me. So I don't just go up into the sky and, you know, live in Mount Hood. Is that a mountain?
Yes, it's a mountain.
Okay.
Leave in
Next
Oregon.
one. All right. I tend to escape from or repress anything that makes me feel unhappy about myself. True? False? I guess sometimes.
I escape or repress anything that makes
Me feel unhappy about myself. I tend to escape from or repress anything that makes me feel unhappy about myself.
I don't know how I would do that. How would I escape something that makes
Just
me...
not how I said with my sister passing and how I wasn't allowed to grieve. That was something, okay, I have to repress that. And I'm going to shut that door and lock it. And that makes me feel unhappy about myself. So I'm not going to look.
No, I think the only thing that really, you know, I've struggled with, and this, I guess, falls under both mental and physical, but, you know, I've always struggled with my weight.
Yeah.
And, but it's not something I
feel unhappy
I
about?
I definitely am unhappy about it sometimes, but I try not to ignore it and shove it under the rug because I know it's something, well, it's there, it's ever present. Every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, there's too much of you. So I can't avoid it.
Aw. Right.
But also I know that there's no benefit from avoiding it or shoving it into the shadow because it's a thing that I need to address and constantly work on.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying like, other than that, I'm perfect.
Right.
But no, that's just the one looming thing that's constantly like, come on, dude, you got to fix this. You got to fix this one thing. Not that it's the only thing, but it's the most obvious and ever-present thing that like, all right, you got to work on this thing here.
Yeah.
Buddy. You got to lose some weight. You got to be healthier. So, but I don't think I slide it under the rug. So whatever answer that would be.
Yeah. For me, I said false because I don't think you escape from it, like you said.
Yeah, I don't escape from it.
Sorry, that was our second timer. We're going to keep going,
No,
peeps.
yeah, do your thing.
I do. I repress things that make me feel unhappy because I'm vain. And yeah, I mean, that's hard. Yeah. I do look at my shadow self, but sometimes I get into ADHD mode where I'm like, I'll look at that later. I'll procrastinate on it because it is hard to face that stuff. Okay, next one. My relationships are A, strained, dramatic, or dysfunctional. B, mostly vibrant, fresh, and loving. Or C, generally enjoyable but complex.
My relationships, also meaning friendships, and that's funny. We were just talking about that before we started recording today.
I know. At least you have friends that are alive. All my friends are dead.
I would say C.
Okay.
Yeah, generally good, but there's, I definitely have some issues with some people. Not like big issues, but just like, wish this guy wasn't so much this way.
Okay, 2 more. I have a morbid obsession or preoccupation with something in my life. I have a morbid obsession, yes or no? I have a morbid obsession or preoccupation with something in my life. This is I don't understand this
I don't
question.
think so. Yeah.
No?
I think that would fall under like addiction, those kind of things. Like,
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with something that's, you
mean,
you could
everyone
argue.
is.
Yeah, you could argue. It's something I joke about, but I don't think I'm obsessed with food.
Yeah.
I enjoy it, and I don't eat the right kind most of the time, but I don't think that would be like an obsession or preoccupation.
Right.
And I'm not addicted to anything else that I'm aware of. So
No.
I would say nah.
All right, last one. I am self-destructive. No, sometimes, often.
Well, again, I guess sometimes I'm self-destructive with my health.
Okay.
I'm not doing everything I should do to live a healthy lifestyle. But so, yeah,
Okay.
sometimes.
And here we go. Are you ready to hear
My
the
score? How'd I
answer?
do?
Here you go. Okay. You have a medium shadow self.
Okay.
Okay. Shadow self. What does that mean? Almost all of us are raised believing that we have to hide or repress rejected parts of ourselves, which are unlovable, unacceptable, or taboo. As a result, this is our shadow. Oh, there's Harvey. Harvey's our cat. Sorry, guys. However, the longer we repress parts of ourselves, the bigger the shadow grows.
Okay.
Okay. So this can lead to self-medicating and self-hatred. And the medication could be drugs, alcohol, abuse, neuroticism. Neuroticism. Oh my gosh. Neurotic? That could be okay, sorry. Anyway, and relationship dysfunction. Sorry, that just threw me. While your shadow self isn't consuming your life, you may find it creeping up on you when you least expect it. Okay, so if you would like to learn more, blah, blah, blah. But so basically, you have awareness of your shadow, but it can creep in with triggers.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see how high my shelf is or whatever. Oh, I have medium. So I have the exact same thing. So yeah, this test
Okay.
sucks, but it's...
Well, I'm glad we spent an hour on it.
No, but... Okay, to kind of sum it up, people do shadow work to get into your inner child.
Mm-hmm.
This is basically therapy, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we look at something and acknowledge it and accept it, you can fold it up and put it away. But if we just repress it, it's like crinkling up like a piece of paper, and it becomes bigger, right? So then you just keep crinkling it up, and then all of a sudden it's huge and you're yelling at somebody in CVS about fake nails.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that will come out. The shadow will come out in ways where you're like, why did I react that way? Ugh. So there is that. So Dr. Young is like, hey, let's look at this. And all those questions, by the way, are great because that test wasn't crap. It was great because you have to go in. Those questions are pointed. Like, when was the exact time you felt shame? Or when was the exact time, growing up that you were taught certain things? We were taught a total, our family system is like a school, right? So we all have parts. Like, there's the principal. My dad was the principal. My mom was the teacher. Like, there's the student of the family. There's the outlier. And we have those stories and they get ingrained because that's every day. That's how you live. Then you're kicked out of the house basically, and you're in your adulthood and, you have a tizzy over a broken dish and you have no idea why. Well, your mom probably broke a dish once and freaked out and scared you. So that's what shadow work does. You put a light on something really hard and try to figure out what that is. And then you work through it through therapy. It's interesting because there's a therapy part of this where people make mini houses. Like, the tiny little houses people make, like miniatures, like doll houses.
Okay, yeah.
And they take their tactileness and they start working on what they want. And it makes them really go into their home life, like what kind of home and what kind of life do you want to live in this thing. So they kind of just started, it was like a craft art therapy type of thing. So yeah, there's different sides of it. There's meditation, there's journaling, and this stuff is all Googleable. And a lot of it is, it's hard. It's going to unleash some stuff, but that's why you have to journal, or you have to kind of take this work seriously, because if you're not ready for it, it will just, it's a lot. I've done it before. So that's shadow work.
That's interesting, Boo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think it's good. I think it's all mind, body. Everything's kind of just, it's all the same stuff. It's just framed differently, right?
Yeah.
So if we acknowledge, like the Lizzo thing, if she acknowledges, why do I do this? Wait, where in my childhood did I get shamed for something, or whatever it is? That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard work, especially for entitled people or famous people who think they're perfect. That's hard, because you have to look in the mirror and be like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Ew. But it's like a tumor. It'll grow and grow and grow, and it'll come out in really bad ways. So let's all just work on our shadows, people, and accept yourself. Look, I'm a neurotic psycho, but I love myself now. Took a while, and it's a daily practice, but
Yeah.
here I am.
Well, you're great at that, Boo, and this is
Thank
this has been very informative, because again, like, I'm aware of some of this stuff. Like, I think about these kind of things. I think about, why do I think this way? Why do I behave this way? But yeah, I've never been schooled on it. I don't have any educational background in this. I haven't even been to therapy. I do appreciate your firsthand experience with all this stuff. And like, again, you're not a trained psychiatrist, but like, you obviously have a background in this with your own journey, with your own therapy,
Grief and all
grief
that.
and figuring out how your brain works. And yeah, I think sometimes if I'm not thinking about it too much, I just think, well, that's just how we are as humans, And
that's just crinkling it up and throwing it over. But I think
sometimes it's beneficial to analyze it and think, okay, well, why do I feel this way, and what can I do to alter that or tweak that?
And also know that thoughts are just like headlights. Like you see them coming and they go, right? It's just, we all have thoughts. There are no exceptions. Every single person, I just want people to leave with this. The nature of being human is to possess both a light and a dark side. And we all need to embrace that and accept each other. There's light and dark to everything. And two things can be truthful at once, right? You could hold both things. And so let's try to be gentle with ourselves and others and hold both. That's all. That's how I'll leave the shadow work segment. Oh, you're welcome.
I like it, Boo.
Thank you.
I like
it.
Well, thank you for all the shadow work, Boo-Boo.
You got it, baby.
Any word of mouth this week? You got anything you're excited about?
BravoCon, I'm deeply in. I've already, I'd like to give a shout out to my Orange County ladies. The Real Housewives of Orange County, this season, on fire. Very good. Also, shout out to Heather Dubrow. I know she probably listens. I just love her.
And who's she again?
She's Fancy Pants on The Real Housewives of OC. She is just hilarious. She's like a very motherly figure. But yeah, I'm getting into all the housewife franchises because I got to read up. I mean, I'm going to be meeting these people in November.
There you go.
Boo, do you have any plugs?
I got a word of mouth.
Word of mouth, I mean.
Yeah. Very excited. People who know me know my affinity for country music.
Oh, yes.
I'm a big country music guy. And when I say country music, I mean like the good stuff.
Yeah.
Not the radio slop.
I like the radio slop.
I can't stand
Carrie Underwood
Red
is
Cup,
beautiful.
road country.
Before He Cheats.
Yeah.
Magnificent.
I haven't heard that one.
Okay.
But one of my favorite artists just dropped a new album this week, Tyler Childers.
Ooh.
Now, he's blowing up in that genre. I still don't know, if he's a household name, if the average person walking down the street who doesn't listen to country music knows who he is. But just been blowing up the last few years. Kentucky dude. I think this is probably his 6th album, if I had to guess.
Oh, and he's so
it's hard
good.
to keep up. But one thing, I love just his songwriting. I love just his style of music. But the thing I love the most is there's been a surge in the last 5 or 10 years in the alt country genre. I mean, it goes all the way back to like Steve Earle, but what I'm talking about is like progressive thinking country boys. I love, being a Georgia boy, being a country boy myself. I've always had to battle that stereotype that, oh, you're from Georgia, so you're probably a bigot, homophobe, conservative. Not necessarily.
Nope.
I was raised around a lot of that, and I was exposed to a lot of that. But I think part of being an adult and thinking for yourself is growing up and forming your own values and opinions and breaking away from maybe what you've been inundated with through childhood. But Tyler Childers, very progressive dude. The new album, Rusting in the Rain, it's kind of a shorter one. I think there's only maybe 7 songs on it. But the first single is called In Your Love, and very good stuff. But the video to it tells a story. He's a big coal mining guy. He comes from coal mining country in Kentucky, eastern Kentucky there. I think his dad worked in the coal mine. So a lot of his lyrics are about where he's from and what he experienced. And, in that part of the country, coal mining has and still is a pretty big part of that culture. So the song In Your Love, the new one, the lyrics per se, you can't really identify any of what he's talking about. But in the video, it's one of those kind of cinematic narrative type videos where there's a story being played out. But it's about 2 gay coal miners. And it looks kind of a period piece, maybe, back in the 40s or 50s when it was definitely shunned upon, that kind of thing was shunned. Even today in that part of the country, I'm sure it's probably not embraced. But just a story about, it's a love song that just happens to be about 2 dudes.
Yeah.
And he's getting so much backlash.
What?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
No.
Same way with Sturgill Simpson, same way with Jason Isbell. Same way with my beloved Drive-By Truckers. Like, if you just listen to the music, you're like, oh, this is just redneck hillbilly music. And in a way it is, and that's part of what I love. I love just that old classic country sound and all that. But the thing now is a lot of the rednecks, a lot of the closed-minded what have yous, who might be attracted to folks like Tyler or Sturgill or Isbell or whomever based on their sound, once they start listening to the lyrics, they're like, huh? Wait a minute. And he's pissing off. He's weeding out the idiots. And I'm such a fan of that.
Good. Good.
Hey, guess what? If you're a closed-minded homophobic bigot, I don't want you at my show.
And you probably are a homo.
Yeah.
Sorry. How dare you?
Homo is such a funny word.
Is
I
that?
know you're not.
No, you're not. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well,
you
yeah.
probably are a homosexual man
Your
or
intent
woman.
is
I'm
right.
sorry.
Your intent is there.
I was just trying to stand up for.
No, I know.
Yes.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, screw.
But
people.
It just tickles me so much that Drive-By Truckers have always been, if you listen to the lyrics, they've always been left-leaning. They've always been progressive. But the last few albums have been pretty overt.
Good.
So now people are like, what the fuck? And it's like, hey, dumbass, they've always been that way.
Yeah.
You're just not listening. And I just love seeing all these bigots get pissed off at folks like Tyler Childers because he's gone woke. I love how that's such an insult now. This woke guy. Oh, you mean the guy has empathy?
Yeah.
Oh, what an asshole.
What a dick.
But yeah, I'm really proud of this whole crew of artists that come from the South and embrace certain parts of the culture. And that's what I try to, Patterson Hood talks about the duality of the Southern thing, meaning, there's a certain charm. You've experienced it. The South has a charm to it. The culture, the food, the geography, there's definitely a charm to it, but the duality meaning our history, with racism and everything, starting even pre-Civil War, but just that, there's definitely, and I can attest to it, even to this day, there's definitely still a certain percent of the population in the South that's just closed-minded, anti-gay, anti-this, anti-that, and I love seeing all these idiots get their panties in a wad because Tyler Childers wrote a song about 2 dudes being in love. Guess what? Gay people exist. Mm-hmm. They fall in love. It makes for great storytelling. Get the fuck over it.
People fall in love.
Yeah, people fall in love.
People fall in love, and that's it. People fall in love.
And I could go on a rant for hours, but just even the Bud Light thing, like, they got to other people exist. And those people drink beer, and those people listen to country music, and those people do all the other things that everybody else does. Get over it.
Yeah, some people don't believe in Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, I love how that person is so quick to tell you, not to shove it down our throats. It's like, all right, well then tell your Christian brothers to do the same.
Yeah, stop it. Don't try to put us in there.
Yeah,
Come on.
Just this whole beat you over the head with it. Well, isn't that every Christian I've ever met?
I was told after my mama passed, I remember my uncle, who's very, very Christian, very conservative. And he was like, how's your walk with Jesus? And I was like, am I supposed to be walking with him? And where? How? What? And so, yeah.
And not to bash,
I'm not
the
trying
point
to
being
bash
is
Christian
it's
people.
my thing. My walk with Jesus is my business.
Also, yeah, Dolly Parton's
Worry
Christian,
about your own shit.
but she also loves everybody, and kindness is awesome. Okay, anyway, so
But check out the new Tyler Childers, Rustin' in the Rain.
Yay.
So good. If you're not familiar with him and you vaguely like country music, it's so good. Some of what he does, it just hits the nail on the head.
Yeah, he's great.
Plugs, Boo, where can we find you on Instagram?
KT Low Strandberg, just like it sounds.
There you go.
And Boo, you.
I got some things to plug. My new album, the special's been out for a while. That's still on YouTube, Pack a Lunch. Feel free to check that out if you haven't already.
It's awesome.
It's also, you can find it on all the streaming audio versions. But also, there's a vinyl version now. 2 LP, really nice cover art. Barry the art guy, Barry Blankenship, did the whole artistic layout. It's a gatefold, a lot of cool stuff on there. 2 LP. Colored, translucent vinyl. And these are limited edition. I think there's not many left. They sent me a grip of 50 of them. So, you can order it from blondemedicine.com. Okay. I think they've got a few left, or you can order directly from me. Just message me on Instagram _ Dave Stone. And I will tell you how to purchase that. $40, shipping's included if you live in the continental U.S. But my second album on vinyl, so that's pretty dope. Especially
awesome.
Being a vinyl guy myself, I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, if you'd like a copy of Pack a Lunch, 2 LP, $40 because it is a 2 LP. If it was just a single, it would be a little more reasonably priced, around $25 or so. But vinyl's getting more and more expensive to press. So, but yeah, $40. Holler at me on Instagram _ Dave Stone if you would like a copy. Also, tour dates coming up. October 6th, I'll be in Kalamazoo, Michigan at Duggar's Up and Over. October 7th, I'll be in Cincinnati, Ohio at the Comet, doing 2 shows there. And on the 8th of October, you can catch me headlining the Milwaukee Comedy Festival at the Laughing Tap. I'll be in Milwaukee at the Laughing Tap on October 8th. All those tickets available right now at dumbdavestone.com. More dates coming up in November. I'll be out and about. December, I got a real fun thing I'm excited to announce that I can't announce yet. But I'll be doing kind of a group tour with 3 other buddies.
It's amazing.
I think
you guys
this
are going
to be a hell of a show.
You're going to plutz.
And like I mentioned earlier, Patreon. Patreon.com/Dave's Kitchen. I give you 1 cooking video every month. We give you 1 podcast every month. So check that out if you're wanting bonus content of me and food and cooking. And also, like we announced last week, this is our 2nd episode on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
So please go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@the Stonebergs Podcast. Please subscribe, and that way you can stay up to date.
And like it. Like and subscribe.
Yeah, I don't care if you like it. I just want you to subscribe.
Yeah, me too.
I'm sure the likes and all that helps the algorithm. I'm not going to ask too much of you.
Okay.
I just want you to go and subscribe.
Let's just do 1.
You like at your own pace. We'll get that. But,
you don't have to like us.
But yeah, full episodes starting last week. Moving forward, we'll pretty much we're going to try to have every episode up on our YouTube channel. The Stonebergs Podcast, so check that out.
And we're getting back to calls before we exit for the day. I just want to say, guys, my question to everybody, if you want to call in, do you have a shadow self? And have you worked through it? In what way?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be shadow work necessarily, or do you have a question about what we talked about? Let us know. Or if you just want to talk about snakes, I'm into it.
Yeah.
The number is
562-548-2012.
We love you.
All right. Boo, this is great great info.
Great info.
As always, I appreciate my weekly dose of vitamin K.
Ditto. But you're D.
Vitamin D.
Or B.
Yeah, that's already a real thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's end this plane.
I love you and the Lord loves you.
Oh, thank you for listening. We love you. Bye.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
You
Okay, thank you.